morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is Friday, February 28th, and we got one more day in February this year, right? We have leap year. And I got to tell you about the weather in just a moment. And first, let me tell you who's on the show today. From United, we have Carl Randazzo. He's going to give us an update of the M&C meeting that they had yesterday. Also, from the El Toro Water District, Catherine Freshley is here. She is one of the directors. And she's really going to talk about, well, what if the power goes out? You know how Southern California Edison shuts down power in the event of high windstorms as a safety precaution in certain areas. How does that affect the water supply? Dan Elweiler from Sterling Financial Advisors is going to give us some tips about all kinds of things. And this time of the year, you know, with tax season coming up, well, we're in it. Good things to learn about, but you know, how it pertains to you maybe next year. Then we have Susan Heck here from the Laguna Woods Village Film Club, and going to talk about their documentary series and their foreign films that they show. All right, no meetings today, so I don't need to tell you about that. As far as the weather goes, as you saw yesterday, it got to be kind of humid out today, yesterday, and today will be similar. We should be 3 to 4 degrees cooler today. I do expect intermittent clouds throughout the day. As we saw yesterday, we got those afternoon clouds coming in. So today will be about the same. Tomorrow will be cooler. Same type of situation, though, as far as the clouds going on. But look, we drop 10 degrees tomorrow and then 10 degrees again on Sunday. We're seeing a cool, quick system coming in. More than likely, we'll start to see rain around here. Light drizzles, possibly around 9:30, 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. And that'll last all the way through the evening, maybe up until midnight. Overall, a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch. And there could be pockets of some downpours and even areas in Southern California that could see a thunderstorm, but it is a real scattered system. Partly cloudy on Monday, then we'll start to warm things back up on Tuesday. And I think by Wednesday or Thursday next week, we won't be as warm as we have been, but we'll be up to the upper 70s. Let's take a look around the state. And the main thing I want to point out to you, you can see I have a lot of double temperatures there, and that is because those areas are really extreme between Saturday and Sunday, just like we will be here. So look at all the mountain areas. You see a big difference of, look at maybe 17, 18 degrees difference from Saturday to Sunday. Big Bear the same, even Palm Springs. Look at that, about a 14-degree difference between today and tomorrow. Well, today they're going to be up to maybe about 83, but on Saturday, Palm Springs 80, then on Sunday, rain for them as well, dropping down to 66. So a big difference in many areas. Some of the coastal regions, Central Coast on up, between Saturday and Sunday, they're sort of out of that system. So they're not going to see that much change in temperature or conditions, but those other areas certainly will. Sierras and local mountains are predicted to get snow on Sunday. For the Sierras, that is really good news. It's not going to be a lot, but anything they can get up there is exactly what we need for our water system. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Through my window, I see the first sunlight, and I feel the warm ocean breeze. I see the waves that lulled me all night. That's what my window brings me.
Look at this.
That view is $1 million.
It's amazing. We can look at these kinds of places within our budget.
You don't have a bad view from here anywhere you look.
It's all about the view. Sunday night is beach night. Sunday night at 8, only on HGTV.
Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
I was very, very ill with diabetes, fibromyalgia to where I couldn't stand up and walk. The chest pain was so bad, I was hospitalized twice. I totally would recommend coming here to Dr. Tom to avoid drugs and pharmaceuticals that really don't cure you. Now I don't need the medication for diabetes. I feel great. I have more mental clarity. I feel that life is better.
Call today for your free phone consultation.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru, where families come first. As a family-ran dealership, your family's safety is our #1 priority. Come in and find the perfect Subaru from the largest selection of Subarus in Orange County. All models are top safety picks by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. We offer the ideal balance of safety, performance, and economy. Irvine Subaru, more Subarus, more safety, more performance, more love.
Well, Carl Randazzo is with me today from the United Board, and yesterday they had their... Day before yesterday, that's right. On Wednesday they had their meeting of the M&C Committee, and you're going to go over some of the highlights of that meeting. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, we had a good meeting, a lot of lively discussion like we normally do with the United M&C Committee, okay? There were a number of things we discussed, but there were 3 key issues that I think need to be addressed, okay? We had some votes on these particular items. So
okay.
The first was a presentation that was made by our energy consultant, TEC. They had done their work in 2 phases. The first phase was to address our infrastructure, and the second phase was going to be using our infrastructure and seeing whether or not we needed to improve our infrastructure for doing any sort of EV charging stations, okay? So they completed the phase 1 portion of the work, and they were doing a report on it. And then they addressed the phase 2 work. And the phase 2 work, as I say, would address infrastructure changes that would need to be made to provide power to each carport in order to charge electric vehicles. Based on some preliminary costs that have been presented to us, it has been determined that this cost is too high for us to sustain. So it seems that carport infrastructure upgrades are not on the list of things to do in the near term. We will need to put a plan into effect that addresses the location of charging stations in United at strategic locations where power is available without making major modifications that would cost us a lot. In United, most of these locations are near the standalone laundry rooms. This work would be planned to roll out over the next number of years, and the first locations would be selected based on the largest concentration of electric vehicles in the community. And we have certain pockets whereby we do have a lot of electric vehicles located. We will work on this plan and not see that it is see that it is addressed in the 2021 budget. Due to this decision, we voted to not exercise our option to have TEC work on phase 2, since we know now what we need to do. We can use the money we would have used for this endeavor to develop a plan for locating the EV chargers within United. This would include reviewing our power requirements in those strategic areas and consult with Southern California Edison to ask them to upgrade our power requirements in those areas as required. And in those areas, there are transformers and conductors in the ground, okay, that may need to be upgraded. And we were told by SEC that if we tell them where we need the additional power, they would provide it upstream of the meter. Downstream of the meter is all by us.
Right.
So at this particular point in time, we would locate those places within the laundry areas at strategic locations where it would be best served, and then we would try to institute that, have SEC upgrade their requirements on their side of the meter, and then we would have to do it on our side of the meter. And there would be some cost to us on our side of the meter, but on their side of the meter, that would be by them.
All right. And of course, this is, you know, in the future, it could be a selling point for here.
That's exactly what we're thinking.
But also, I just know for us, my wife has a hybrid electric car, and she plugs it in now and then. But we park outside. Our garage is full of stuff. You got to run the cord in. And if I ever got a vehicle like that, there would not be another outlet that's available.
Right.
It would be too much draw off of the one because it's just the 110. So just for a standard home, it's difficult, let alone potentially hundreds and hundreds of charging stations.
And the carports right now, okay, each particular circuit for a carport only has a 20 amp circuit. So if you plug in, if there's 4 or 5 or 10 cars in that carport, okay, if each person plugs in, each electric vehicle draws anywhere between 12 and 15 amps. So you can't, 12 into 20 doesn't go more than once, okay?
Right,
so under the circumstances, it can't happen. So we have to locate these at other locations because to upgrade all the infrastructure in those carports is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
We then discussed United's project log to determine if we could delay or reduce any of this year's planned work activities and use that money on possibly more important projects. We were able, based on our discussion, we were able to defer or defund certain projects, and as a result of this decision, we were provided with additional funding that could be used to get a head start on drainage problems and flooding in this community. These flooding and drainage problems, okay, sometimes undermine the foundations, especially when the gutters are not able to maintain it, okay, they cascade over, they dump down into the ground, and then they just drive into the ground and they undermine the foundation. We'd like to basically see if we can address some of that. Of note regarding this defunding is the funding reduction that was made for the replacement of the barbed wire fencing with the shepherd's crook fencing. We've had a lot of people that have questioned why we were changing out the barbed wire for the shepherd's crooks. Per the city requirements, United is required to upgrade 300 feet of fencing each year, which was part of the overall 900 feet city requirement per year, where 600 of that is going to 3rd and GRF. So United gets 300, 3rd gets 300, and GRF gets 300. So that's a requirement per the city. In United, we have been installing a lot more than 300 feet per year, thinking that we would complete the whole perimeter in a shorter period of time. However, with other priorities that have come up, we have reassessed this, thinking and we will now, for this year at least, only do the minimum of 300 feet in United and utilize part of those funding for something else. We don't need to put in 900 feet of fencing. We then discussed the revitalization of the United Handyman program, and I think this is something that people want to hear. As everyone knows, this is a popular program. However, during the first pilot year period, it was determined that it could not be sustained. This new revitalized handyman program is now being rolled out in 2 phases. The first phase has already been rolled out and it is in effect. This first phase addresses light-duty handyman services that are not technical in nature, and this work will be implemented by the company called Neighboring. This company has performed services for other residents in the community in the past and has worked with our social services department here in the village. The brochure shown on your screen provides details of the services that they provide. Now, these brochures are all over the village now, and there's a number of them in the community center. They're just, you can pick them up at the various different locations. Please note that all calls for this service must be made to Neighboring itself and not to our resident services department. So when you use that number, please, I will repeat, do not call resident services if you want to have work done by Neighboring, and their phone number is shown on that brochure. Residents do not have to use Neighboring services. All residents have the prerogative to employ whoever they choose to perform these chores. However, the Handyman Task Force and the United Board have reviewed the work that has been done by Neighboring and found that based on their past performance, they have provided a good service, and so far, people that have used them seem to be happy with their work. Please also note that United has also negotiated better rates with them that will be used if Laguna Woods residents call them to ask to perform their services listed in their brochure. And I'd like to note, okay, this is open to everyone in Laguna Woods Village, whether or not you're a Third, United, or whomever, okay? United's negotiated these rates with them for everyone in the village. I would also like to point out that not everything that they will be able to help you with is listed on their brochure. So if you call them and have a job that you would like them to do, then please ask them if they can do it. Remember, these are mostly non-technical jobs. Please also note that when you use their services, you and neighboring will be releasing United Laguna Woods Mutual of any liability regarding any of their services that they provide to you. This, however, should not be an issue, since the services provided by them are light-duty handyman services and no major problems are anticipated when they do the work for which they are hired. Changing light bulbs, changing curtains. I mean, these are just light-duty things that,
yeah.
You know, I mean, there shouldn't be an issue, okay? But we really do need to be released of any liability, okay? And you're going to be dealing directly with neighboring when you call them. But we vetted them, and we feel that their work, based on past performance, okay, seems to be acceptable, and the people that have used them seem to be doing very well with their services. Phase 2 of the handyman program, which I think is important to a lot of people also, will be presented to the board in March, based on our vote at this past M&C meeting. Phase 2 addresses technical work requiring a plumber, electrician, or a carpenter. This phase will be called chargeable services and only addresses technical services that are to be done by VMS staff. If you live in United, the listed items and associated charges only apply to items in your manor that are alterations. I will repeat. These charges only apply to work that will be done to or for alterations that were already done to your manor. So if you've got an alteration sink and you want to change out your faucet or what have you, you can't call you can't call Resident Services because they will not do any work on that because it's not a freebie because that faucet was put in by you.
Okay.
But you can now call them, and for a charge, they will replace your faucet, replace the cartridge in your faucet, whatever needs to be done, but it will be based on a charge that will be listed on there. Like I mentioned, if your sink or bathtub or electrical item is not an alteration, then when you call Resident Services for repairs to be made to those items, then that service will be done at no cost if it's not an alteration. And for Phase 2 handyman services, you will need to call Resident Services. That's one that you need to call them. We have developed a list of the chargeable services that are associated with Phase 2. I had a chart that I was going to bring with me, but some of the people said since it wasn't officially approved by our board yet, I shouldn't be showing it. But for the most part, it will probably be approved. That list also shows the associated estimated costs, and this listing will be attached to the agenda for our next board meeting, since it was already approved by members of the United M&C Committee at this past meeting. It will now need to pass 2 more votes at the board meeting in March and April, and if it is voted at that meeting, then we will try to roll it out in Phase 2 in late April or early May. And that's all I've got right now on that. Those are the major issues.
Okay, Carl, I appreciate you coming on and giving everyone an update. And I guess the next time around, you'll get more into the chargeable services.
Yeah, chargeable services should already be, should be something after the April meeting, okay? We should basically be able to roll it out.
Okay, very good, and we'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
I'm a strong believer that there's something for everyone out there. But some people never stop searching. I've looked long and hard through these parts, and I thank my lucky stars I stumbled across a special place, a unique place, where you never know what you'll find. The Trading Post, only on Channel 6.
Save now at LA Carpet & More's 50% off sale.
Buy direct and save 50% on carpet and 50% off tile.
Plus, get 5 years 0% financing.
LA Carpet, #1 for you.
Save now at LA Carpet & More's 50% off sale.
Buy direct and save 50% on carpet and 50% off tile.
Plus, get 5 years 0% financing.
LA Carpet, #1 for you.
Dr. Yi-Wing Tong and Dr. Elaine Tong specialize in treating chronic pain and other disorders without drugs or surgery. Our therapy uses anesthetic injections to enhance acupuncture, curing disorders by restoring circulation and health. Most of our patients have tried all kinds of therapies without benefit, but obtained relief with their first treatment. Whether you are suffering from chronic pain, mental disorders, or simply wanting to maintain optimal health, we are here to help. Call today for your free phone consultation.
Get out and live your life with the Buzz Around XL travel scooter from Golden. The Buzz Around is fun to drive with a tight indoor turning radius so you can go just about anywhere. It's also so easy to charge and offers all-day range so you can go further. The Buzz Around even has more leg and foot room for all-day driving comfort. Be safe with the XL's ultra-bright LED headlight. Plus, the Buzz Around XL can be easily taken apart into several lightweight pieces. See for yourself just how easy and affordable mobility freedom can be.
Well, Catherine Freshley is with us today. She is one of the directors on the El Toro Water District Board. And today, Catherine, we are talking about public safety power shutoff. And this has to do, of course, with Southern California Edison, other electric companies in other areas that are now curtailing, shutting off, maybe reducing the power in certain areas that could be wildfire danger, high wind danger. And we've seen this already being done in certain areas. Right. And it looks like, at least in the near future, it's a plan that they're going to be using until maybe they redo some of their infrastructure. But you're here because how does this pertain to the water district? You guys use power, and you need power.
Well, that's absolutely. Yeah. It's really quite interesting. The law was passed this past year, which gives, which basically states that depending upon the conditions, and we're all aware of what has gone on in Northern California, and and Pacific Gas and Electric, the fines they've had. I mean, it was like $2 billion they just got fined for the fires, and and it's a tragedy because in order to get the power to us, we got to go through some very difficult areas.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what has happened is, by the law changing, it's forced all the utilities, not just the electric companies. I mean, initially when they were talking about it, they were really concerned with hospitals and things. They didn't stop to think that, the water systems and the sewers, we need electricity in order to function. You know, that's just part of a modern society.
Yeah.
And so that the requirement, next slide, okay, the requirement is that when there's a danger, the utility is the one that makes the decision. Okay. Now what we have here is that you can see that we got a map at the lower right side. That's the El Toro Water District. That's basically everything in the yellow is our district, is where we're supplying the water. And so where we also, we do sewers also. Okay. So we've got to protect that area. Actually, because we're in a metropolitan area, we're really not that much at risk.
Yeah, that's right.
If you go down to the west side, where you got Laguna Canyon and everything, that is very rural.
Yeah.
But typically, the winds, when it's really dry, the winds are blowing from the east toward the ocean.
Right.
They're not blowing toward us. So that's not really as much of a risk for us. Now, Southern California Edison has the big high-tension power lines running in that area.
Right.
And they're constantly monitoring that to make sure that they're capable, they don't have any problem. And then you'll see this long tail that goes up there with Aliso Creek. And that's all the way almost up to the 241. That's a little bit more of a riskier area for us because there's more open space in that area.
Yeah.
See? So that's what we really have to be concerned about. And you see the little yellow circle there, just down below the district. That's our R5 reservoir.
Okay.
That's the largest reservoir here in actually Orange County.
Okay.
And it's jointly owned by us and Santa Margarita Water District. So that's where that's where we're storing water. So those are the areas that we have to be concerned about. Okay.
And that is that the reservoir that's up on Los Alisos?
Yeah.
That area? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just around there that's your district.
That's right.
Okay.
It's around it is around that reservoir is not our district. That basically is Molten Miguel or Santa Margarita.
Okay.
But it was built before they before they were really coming into existence.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. And the next slide.
Okay. So this is the
now what kind of tools are the utilities? And it's not just Southern California Edison. A couple weeks ago, I was down to a engineering session with Aqua, which is the Association of Water Industry here in California, and really working. But San Diego, has had many more fires,
right?
And they got much more open space to contend with than and Southern California Edison does too, but not in our area. And it was very interesting as to what the utilities are having to do. And for example, one of the things that Southern California is they're going to be expanding the network of weather stations. Right now, they have 400 weather stations. They're going to add another 850.
Oh, wow.
And these weather stations, so they'll be monitoring winds, wind direction. They're also going to be monitoring vegetation moisture.
Okay. Wow.
They really have begun to computerize this. And one of the things and working with the federal government, the U.S. government, with the satellites, what they've done now, they're in the process, and this San Diego was kind of leading this effort because they hired, about 10 years ago, a weatherman, basically a meteorologist, to help them plan so that they know when to have to start shutting off electricity and we'll talk about what the process is. And now they're setting up, they're just in the process of doing this, they're setting up, similar to, when you have hurricanes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the intense, they're setting up a system that's going to be 4 levels. And this will be determined, when they're talking about what the fire hazard's going to be.
Okay.
What kind of wind, how dry is things, vegetation reading, they're going to be reading the vegetation from the satellites so they know ahead what the vegetation, is it dry, is it wet, what the moisture content is, so that they can be telling ahead, they'll be able to explain ahead, hey, if this is a level 4 fire risk, then you're going to, that's the time they're going to have to really turn the power off. Okay. So it's getting that understanding, which we never really had.
That's true.
These are things that have been developed only in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
See, so a lot is happening there. And then you're going to have the fire monitoring cameras.
Yeah, and we see those here.
And you see that on the next page. This is, and right now, see, we have maybe about, I don't know how many total.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're going to be installing another 70 throughout Southern California Edison is. Because as you can see, that one camera, you can see a little bit where that orange is.
Yes.
That's the view that on the left from that camera. And you can see, remember the days back in the forest monitoring? We used to talk about it. They had well, now we got electronic stations. And these stations, the monitoring is checked every 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's the data that is coming back, see. So
yeah, very important.
It's without the data, it's very hard to make the decision. Where is the risk?
Yeah.
And that whole basis of this is determining where is the risk.
Yeah.
Okay. The notification plan is the first notification that we would have, and the community basically would be about 2 days ahead. If they think there's going to be a fire, there's going to be a fire season, they'll be trying to assess, well, what risk is it?
Yeah.
What level of fire might it be? And then the second notification is the day ahead, you know, when you know, because it's interesting, you know, talking to a meteorologist, they can kind of predict, you know, when's the winds and when is all the conditions going to be a certain thing. And so, you know, they're getting much better at.
Yeah,
you know,
we got notifications like that.
Yeah. I mean,
last year,
as you know, that it's you back in when we were growing up, we were lucky to get a notification that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, a day ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're able to forecast pretty reliably, at least a week ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's really what this has been, you know, been developed around. And the third notification is basically we're going to have to shut down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the fourth notification is when they're going to turn the power back on.
Mm-hmm.
Because before they do, they got to check and make sure
that's true.
Everything is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the El Toro electrical demands? Well, just for us overall, okay, we got 8 water pump stations. We got 11 sewer lift stations, you know, because we got to move that sewer stuff. We got to move stuff to the, you know, to the recycling plant.
Right.
You know, this stuff just doesn't flow by itself. It's not gravity.
Yeah.
It's not gravity fed. Other than if you remember that tail that goes way up there. Now, see, that tends to be more gravity fed for us.
It's coming down.
That's coming down. But anything we have to put water up there, we got to pump it up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So then you got so our total energy consumption is 8.3 million kilowatt hours a year, which is about $1 million a year is what we spend just on electricity. Okay. So what do we have in order to prepare ourselves for this eventuality? Well, in backup power, we got 15 stationary generators.
Okay.
And 4 portable generators. You know, and so that, you know, and so we can actually respond as we need to in a given area if there's going to be a shutdown. Now, one of the things that we're going to be working with and we need to work with is with Southern California Edison is begin to determine if they're going to have to shut down, which areas are going to be affected and where are they, where are the isolation points going to be so we can predict ahead where we have to locate our stuff, say. And so we got emergency bypass equipment. We got 3 portable sewage bypass pumps, a vacuum truck, and you know, so because that's a big issue. Most people don't realize. You know, last time I was here, we talked about the sewage, SACWA, you know, where we take a lot of our sewage, and you know, and half of our the water district's work is taking care of the sewage. Yeah. You know, and that's half of our expenses, and so we have to be capable of making sure that we can remove it and not flood it on the streets or anything, because it becomes a real health hazard. Yeah. Okay. And then the next item that we have is that we're in the process of reviewing, our fuel storage and making sure that we have adequate storage of fuel if we have to run a shutdown. And right now, we're looking at maybe adding another main tank and this stuff. Right now, we carry enough fuel to go for 4 days. So we could survive 4 days. We're looking at it, it's one of the things we're doing in strategic planning, of saying what would it take us to get up to 10 days where we could survive if we didn't have power. Yeah. How do we make sure that we can function effectively for the community for 10 days? And you know, and thinking that that's probably the limit of what we might have to see.
Now, the other water districts right in this area, Molten Miguel and Santa Margarita, do you work with them as well in all this? In case
we talk to them. Yeah, we do. And but everybody is in the process of going through this. Right. Okay, so you know, until everybody develops kind of the plan, and then we work with the. With the Orange County Sanitation District, we're working with the Orange County Water District.
Because I'm thinking one district may be more in need than the other, and equipment could be provided for them.
And that's true. Yeah. Now, one of the things that was interesting when we started talking about this several months ago, and I learned from talking with Dennis, was that it was surprising that we have more backup power than many of the other districts. Some districts didn't have any backup power.
Wow. Yeah.
See, so we have been really pretty, over the years, the boards have been very very conscious of this, and the staff has, so we're not having to buy a lot of equipment. We're not having to add things.
Yeah.
We've already had it. It's a matter of now really getting focused on the issue.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
Well, very good. You gotta, things change, and
oh, yeah.
new technology is helpful, but it shows that what you have to be prepared for nowadays.
Well, and it shows that the technology, where the opportunity is to begin to use technology. When we got all these satellites going.
Yeah.
There's things that we can do from them now that we never had the possibility of the ability to do before. And if we learn how to use the technology, it can be a lifesaver for all of us.
Yeah, it can. Well, thank you for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
I enjoy seeing you.
Well, thank you.
And you've been with the El Toro Water District now 2 years?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. Oh, that's right. It was a November election.
It was a November election, and
that's right.
And remember, I got appointed in the summer before.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Good to see you, Catherine.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
If you truly want to make a difference, there's no better way than a career in California water, a dynamic, essential industry at a critical turning point.
Water is absolutely the most crucial thing hitting our Central Valley and our state.
It's work that's so essential that people want to stick with it if they're in it.
It will be life-changing, not only for yourself, but for generations to come.
Through times of drought, aging infrastructure, and a growing population, the water leaders of tomorrow will seek innovative solutions to unprecedented challenges, helping protect California's most vital resource.
We have to broaden our network so that we can bring all the bright minds together to solve a problem that has to be solved.
It's a valuable resource. We need to protect it, and we always need people to do that.
The water business isn't just about delivering water, moving it from point A to point B. A new wave of opportunities are emerging, from working in the field to a water quality lab, shaping policy in a boardroom to customer service and human resources, tackling complex regulations, or leveraging technology for critical improvements in water efficiency and sustainability.
It's not just building pipes and pump stations anymore.
We need engineers, we need those in the hard sciences, we need those in the soft sciences, people that understand law, understand public policy.
You need the accountants, you need the rate setters.
We need all types and all hands on deck.
There's nothing more central to California's future than carrying on the water industry's mission.
It's a tremendous responsibility we have in delivering that water resource that you can't live without.
If you really want to make an impact, then this is where you're going to have the most impact.
In California Water, you'll find a vast array of long-term, well-paying careers with numerous opportunities to grow and make your mark, and new initiatives welcoming the next generation.
It makes me feel like I can make a real big difference.
If you think that this industry is a non-changing industry, that's exactly the reason why you have to get involved. That's why you have to come in to affect that change.
It's only going to become more important as years go on, too.
Why not be that person to take the water industry to the next level?
We're going to have to be more innovative, we're going to have to collaborate more, and we'll need a new generation to help us do that.
The impact that your service will bring to public service and to water in general will last for generations to come.
And I'd like to welcome back from the film club here in Laguna Woods Village, Susan Heck. She is an emeritus instructor, and she comes every time that they have a film, every month. She introduces them and follows with discussions about the films that they do, which are indie films and foreign films, and really good stuff. Nice to see you.
Thank
so tell us
you.
about the film club in general.
The film club is a long-standing club here. It has been, we have been in business for 34 years,
wow.
Which is, I know, 1986. And every month we show films, like you said, they're foreign films, they're indie films. we have a board who really carefully picks these films. They go through several viewings, and they get films that are, sometimes they're a little older. They're, you know, about, I think, from 2018. You know, we have them a little older, but they're films that you can really think about.
All right.
And that's what I really love. And this month, in March and April, we're having 2 films a month. And yeah, because Clubhouse 3 is closing down for renovations.
So you're kind of stacking up.
Exactly.
Right now. Yeah.
Really. So if I may, I'd love to tell you about the films.
Sure, yes.
You know, first of all, if people haven't signed up for the film club, they can still apply and come for the last 4 films. What we do is we sell a subscription, but it's so inexpensive. It's like $15, so you get 4 films for $15. Let's see, 3 of the films are foreign. So the film we're going to show March 4th, March 4th and 5th is, it's this really wonderful Israeli film. And it takes place partly in Berlin and partly in Jerusalem. And right there, I mean, just thinking about those 2 places, it sets up for the characters just all kinds of symbolic, you know, situations. And it's, in its way, it's a very beautiful love story with also lots of things to think about. And of course, we have, I mean, you can't go into this film being hungry. Because one of the main characters is a cake maker.
Yeah, that's what I saw here. I'm not sure I quite understand the synopsis, because what was said to me, a German pastry maker travels to Jerusalem in search of the wife and son of his dead lover. How does that all...
How does it all work?
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be...
It's like, could that possibly happen? Well, what happens is in Berlin, we have the cake maker who has a shop, beautiful little shop. And an Israeli man who's there on business walks in, and he is bisexual.
Oh, okay.
And he falls in love with the cake maker.
Okay, all right.
But things are not this easy. The Israeli man is married.
Okay, all right. Now I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So yes.
All right. Now the next movie on March 25th to 26th is St. Vincent.
This is actually a very...
And I want to mention, by the way, you do this 2 days of the week to give people an opportunity.
We do, and there's 3 showings.
Right, and we have that, we don't have the times up there, but 2 p.m. on Wednesdays and 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, right?
And on Thursday.
So 3 showings, yeah.
Yeah, so people can have their choice if they want to come in the afternoon or the evening.
Okay. So this one's St. Vincent, and it's about a young boy whose parents have just divorced.
Yes. His parents have just divorced. His mother is Melissa McCarthy, who's a wonderful actress. And their neighbor is the inimitable Bill Murray.
Oh, wow.
And so there's this wonderful relationship that occurs between Bill Murray and
So this was obviously
boy.
much more, although I don't know if I think, you know, wait, we did show this. I think we showed that here once because, well, I know.
Did you see
it? It might have been an older Bill Murray movie, but I just remember he's kind of like laying around drinking beer, and maybe we did, yes.
Yeah.
So this is obviously
really
more
wonderful.
of a mainstream.
Exactly.
Okay.
But again, it has those. What I really love is it has thoughtful characters who you can really, you know, talk about and discuss, and of course we have a discussion afterwards.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
Then April 1st and 2nd, Sarah's Key. In modern day Paris, a journalist finds her life becoming entwined with a young girl whose family was torn apart during this notorious roundup. It says modern day, but I see. Okay.
Okay, so we have Kristen Scott Thomas, who plays the journalist, and she becomes obsessed with this story about a woman in World War II named Sarah.
Okay.
And so we have 2 stories going on. We have Sarah's story, and then we have Kristen Scott Thomas's story as a journalist. She's such a wonderful actress.
And then
I love her.
mid-April, 15th and 16th, Nightingale, a Chinese movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is about a Chinese farmer who decides to return to his native village to release his pet bird in honor to promise a promise he made to his wife, his late wife.
Yeah, so he has this nightingale, and he's going to return to his village. What he doesn't count on is his little granddaughter, who is like cell phone obsessed, and this really modern little kid wants to come with him. So we have grandpa and granddaughter. It's really a delightful film. It's like a fable.
And again, you know, you said the memberships are only $15. You have to be a member to come to the film?
You do have to become a member.
All right.
And as I said, we have 4 more films, and so I hope that people
And
will...
then you won't for a while, you're going to find a different location?
We're looking for a different location for... Usually we take a summer break.
Okay, all
So
right.
we'll have a few months off, and then we're looking for
All
a
right.
summer for another, I lost my words, for another location for August.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on. You know, we'll probably hear from you one more time again until
I
your
hope so.
hiatus, so to speak.
All right.
And then by then you can talk about the, you know, you only have 2 films left, but you're welcome to come back on and talk
thank
about
you
the
so
club.
much.
Susan,
Great.
thank you very much for coming on. And again, you can find out more about this on the club
website.
pages, of course, and link up through there. But, you know, an interesting way to come across some films you probably wouldn't think about seeing otherwise.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
There's never quite enough time. We try to make the most of it, to find more of it, to cherish each and every moment. At Memorial Care, we value your time. So we're bringing more locations closer to you. Because having award-winning physicians in your own neighborhood means getting to appointments faster and enjoying a healthier life. We're here, with care where you need it.
Mind and Memory Program at Mission Hospital is an outpatient program specifically designed for patients with a memory disorder who have developed a mental health issue, such as depression, anxiety, or paranoia. Patients are welcome every day, Monday through Friday, up to 4 days a week. On-site meals and snacks are included, and transportation to and from the program is available. The program focuses on improvement in overall mood, function, and concentration, as well as a decrease in depression or anxiety. Call today to find out if you or your loved one qualifies for the Mind and Memory Program.
Envision, the eye doctor's #1 choice.
I have worked with the doctors at Envision for over 20 years. Their experience, state-of-the-art technology, and positive outcomes have earned them my trust in taking care of our mutual patients.
With clear vision, all things are possible. To schedule your appointment today, contact us at 866-599-2740.
Imagine a life. Now imagine this life belongs to someone you care about. Someone you love. Your spouse, your parent, your child, best friend, sister, coworker, or neighbor. Of course, you'd want the best life imaginable for them. A life with caring, meaningful relationships. The chance to succeed in school, fulfilling, challenging work, and a rewarding career. In short, you'd want them to have a long and happy life. Now imagine there was something keeping them from these things. Something that prevented it from happening. Something invisible, powerful, and often overwhelming. The good news is people can and do get better. With treatment and support, up to 90% of people with mental health challenges report a better quality of life. The bad news is most people who need help don't seek help. Why? Stigma. Stigma is the brick wall. Stigma is the fear of being quickly labeled and having people judge and form opinions about you before they actually know you. Stigma can keep a person from seeking help and living the life they deserve. So what's the solution? Honesty. Because honesty is stigma's weak spot. When we speak honestly and openly about mental health, stigma loses its power. Honesty breaks down barriers and removes obstacles, so people may seek help sooner. Families and friends will understand how to help and support. Schools become more accepting and understanding. Businesses place a person's value where value should be placed. And people understand and reach out to others. Because a simple thing like honesty creates a culture where one thing doesn't define someone. It's just one small part of what makes a person, well, a person. Each Mind Matters is California's mental health movement dedicated to creating and fostering open and honest conversations about mental health that break down the barriers of stigma. By increasing awareness of mental health, change happens all around us. Families and friends learn how to help the ones they love. Systems and services adapt so assistance is readily available if needed. Communities recognize the importance of mental health. In fact, 80% of people believe that recovery from mental illness is possible, and more people are willing to socialize, work with, and live in neighborhoods with people with mental health issues than just a year ago. But your support and investment is vital to keep the movement moving, to reduce mental health stigma and enable people we love to live the lives they deserve.
Well, coming up today, our movie is Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. This came out in 1993, a Disney movie that is an adventure, drama, a little bit of comedy in it. It's all about a group of pets, and their family, the Seavers, leave for family vacation, and they drop their pets off, who are 2 dogs and a cat, and they drop them off at a friend's ranch. Well, the pets think they're just being left there, and so they embark on a journey together to find their way back home through the California wilderness. And good movie. I remember when this first came out. The pets are voiced by Michael J. Fox, Don Amici, and Sally Field. So long before, these were all real animals, not computer generated. So a lot of trick photography, I guess you would call it back then, practical photography. All right, our movie coming up on Monday, another Disney movie, and this is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. This is the sequel to the original one that came out in 2014. This one came out last year, and I guess you could say really sort of a sequel to the original Sleeping Beauty movie in the 1950s. Let's take a look at it.
5 years ago, I thought I lost you forever. There is no curse that could ever tear me away from you. Will you marry me?
Yes.
Mistress, I have a little bit of news.
Don't ruin my morning.
Philip asked me to marry him.
No.
I wasn't really asking.
Nor was I. Love doesn't always end well, Beastie.
Trust me. Let us prove you wrong.
You have done an admirable job going against your own nature to raise this child. But now, she will finally get the love of a real mother. Tonight, I consider Aurora my own. There is no union. There will be no wedding.
What have you done?
We go home now. Aurora! Maleficent is a threat to everyone. We'll do our best to protect you. Well, well. One can never be too careful.
do not know me.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the first one as well. And of course, that's Angelina Jolie in the title role, Maleficent. Elle Fanning plays Aurora, also known as Sleeping Beauty. And Michelle Pfeiffer, in this one, she's the evil queen in this. So these movies are sort of a twist on the Sleeping Beauty tale. Very well done. And as I said the other day, you could tell there's probably going to be a third one here. That's kind of just the way it is now. All right, as far as our weather goes today, a little bit cooler than what we had yesterday by 3 or 4 degrees. Still kind of humid out, though, and that's going to continue. We drop 10 degrees tomorrow, drop another 10 degrees on Sunday, and that's when we're looking at some scattered showers throughout the day on Sunday. And we're not looking at a lot of rain. Certain areas could have isolated thunderstorms, though, but a tenth to maybe of a quarter of an inch. It could spill over to Monday morning, but sort of doubtful. And then as we move forward, Tuesday, 67, we'll start to see the temperatures rise back up again. Next week, not quite as warm, though. Here we are around the state, and as I said earlier, Sunday is a much cooler day around most of the states, particularly the Sierras, the mountains in Southern California. That's why you see those aren't the highs and lows. Those are the highs for Saturday and the highs for Sunday. So you can see what a remarkable difference between the 2 days. And fortunately, this storm system, not strong, but it should bring snow in the Sierras and in our local mountains, so that's good. All right, we will see you Monday. You have a great weekend. Take care.